My friend was saying when I said that I'm going to talk about how to deal with disappointments, she was saying, I wish that we have some solutions as adults. All of us, as adults, we do have disappointments. Sometimes philosophically, we also say life is full of disappointments. We need to cope with it. We need to deal with it. That's our life. But on top of it, it's our responsibility to help our children to deal with disappointments. When it comes to adults, we are all grown up, so called experienced people. We know the consequences. We know why we can reason out, we can see the logic of our disappointment. All those are possible when, as adults, hopefully, all of us can cope with disappointments in various ways. Even that we seek help from others. There are many ways we try. We say that I want to detach myself from this disappointment. Some of us try yoga, some of us try stress therapy, and some of us say that I would like to talk to someone. Even sometimes we say, I want to cry so that I feel better after crying. All of us as adults, we struggle with this. Dealing with disappointments is not easy. We know it very well. It's not easy for us. Though we can easily say that you need to cope with your disappointments, face your life courageously. That's what life is. As human beings, we must be able to raise above the occasion. All those are easy to say, but we know as adults, it's not easy to follow. It's not easy when it comes to us. But our huge responsibility as adults is to help our children to deal with disappointments. It is our responsibility. That's why we are all here. We would like to do that. I always think I can give you 101 strategies to help children to deal with disappointments. That's what to do is easy. How to do is not easy. It's not easy, especially when it comes to children. Actually, our connection with children is based on our emotion, deep emotional connection. We have love, we have affection, we care for our children. All those also will come in the way of us trying to help our children to deal with disappointments. First of all, it is that affection. I can't bear to see my child unhappy. I can't bear to see my child cry. That's not okay. It's not possible. I know that. I know it very well. Not only our own children. I want to tell you, many of us work with children in schools. Even with those children, you are not personally related. The emotional connection is different. Even with those children, it's not easy. But luckily, I want to tell you, with our children, these disappointments are not life-changing. They are temporary. You know, the child who is disappointed, who cries, within 5 minutes, the child smiles. Imagine such a blessing. Imagine us doing that. When we are disappointed, we are upset, we are angry. Sometimes we are angry about somebody's action, angry on someone. It's not possible for us to change immediately. But I can give you the assurance with our children. It's very easy. Once you help them to deal with the disappointment, they also very beautifully, poor children, they come back to you, knowing that what I needed that point, I got it only from this person. They can't tell you. I'm talking about very young children, even those very young children. And I also want to tell you, we all know the way as adults we dealt with our disappointments. We deal with our disappointments. We are going to deal with our disappointments is based on who we are. We know that. We know that very well. That so-and-so can cope with all the failures. So-and-so can cope with all the disappointments. He or she doesn't show it on her face. All those are based on who we are. It's based on our upbringing also. We know that very well. So it's all the more important for us to help our very young children to deal with their disappointments. Let them deal with it. Let them take control of their disappointments. Let them be independent. That's our wish actually. We wish our children can do that. All of us know after the board exams, the the news for 2 3 days is so and so committed suicide on based on the result. So and so committed suicide because the person didn't get high marks. And there are many organizations which are working towards helping these children. We also know that there are many phone numbers now in the WhatsApp or the newspaper. You see saying that if you need anything, please call us. That when children are not able to face that, that's about character. It's nothing but not able to deal with my disappointment. Let's not create children who can't deal with disappointments. Let's start when they are very young. But with very young children, the difficulty is they don't shout at us, they don't scream at us, they cry. Child's cry will melt all of us. I know that. When they are disappointed, the, usually they cry. What are their disappointments? Like I said, they are not life-changing disappointments. They are not major ones. Always for young children, people are using mobile phones. I'm not against mobile phones. We need mobile phones. Our life depends on mobile phones. Whether it's a professional life, whether it's personal life. Even today, before this talk, I lost power. I had to call immediately Ramya and tell her that I lost power. We need mobile phones. That's why I'm taking that as an example. Mobile phones, we feel it's not good for our children. No, 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 no. Children can't touch it. Many neuroscientists, neurologists are saying it's very bad for children. I want to take that away from my child. But this young child is so attractive, whether it's 1.5, 2 years, 3 years, the child is so attractive. The child waits for a moment where the child gets access to the mobile phone. Something is so interesting for all the adults. When I look around, I see adults using mobile phones all the time. Something is going on. I want to touch it. That's the child's, I would say, that's a push for the child. When the child touches it, when we say no, that's a major disappointment, though it's a minor one, but they can't take it. What do? They cry or they try to take it and run away from us. We are going to see how to help our children to deal with their disappointments. When you realize that it's not okay. It's not okay to leave children with that kind of thing. It is not good for the child. We as adults to deal with disappointments. I was thinking about it. What do we need? We don't need a course. We can't have training. Every child is different. Every situation is different. Many of us start saying that I can do that, but I will live in a joint big family. People, they don't do it. So all those are there. I know that. But I was thinking about it. I thought, what do we need as adults? We need clarity and consistency. Those two are, I would say, those are the keys to help our children to deal with disappointment. We, first of all, we need to, as adults, we need to be clear. Yes, this is not good for my child. Even if my child is disappointed, it is my responsibility to tell the child that you can't do. It's not possible. That's what I meant by clarity. We need to, is it okay to do it or not? Is it not okay? My child will cry. My child will say, sometimes the child who can speak well, child will say, I don't like you. I hate you. All those they say it. They don't mean it. Definitely younger children, they don't. That minute disappointment, remember, these are the signs these are the signs of the child coping with the disappointment. That's why the cry is, I'm not, I'm disappointed. You are saying, no, I can't take it. And I don't like you, I will not come to you. But once we have clarity, we know that it is good for the child. Sticking to our decision, being consistent. I'm sorry, even if you are crying, this is not okay. I'm going to take it away from you and put it away. This you can't touch. I want to tell you, by doing it once, first time, it is not easy. I already said we have emotional connection. Children cry. Might be our own children, our neighbors' children. It's all the more difficult. Parents that this so and so beating me, pinching me. If you say no, but remember, by saying no once, we are placing the first brick towards the child's character formation. That's such important thing for us to say no. That's very important. Actually, 2-3 times, if the child realizes it consistently, this is what is happening. Either the child will stop doing it, or when the child does it, if there is a no, child will not react. Child started coping with his or her disappointment. I know that something didn't go well. They are not logical children. Our young children can't see the reason behind it, but it's not allowed. It's okay. I want to tell you, children will realize that, and they will, like I said, they will come back to us. There are many things. Children jump on the sofa. Then you say no. That's a disappointment, especially for a child who's so used to jumping on the sofa. Suddenly, one person is looking at me and saying no. I want to tell you, many times I've tried that. I get a strange look from children. First of all, that they start to wonder what is happening to this person. I was never told no. Never. Why? That's the first reaction you get from children. They look at you and they try. That's I am disappointed. I'm trying to cope with my disappointment by doing it again and trying to see your reaction if you stick to your decision. And I also want to tell you, if the child is jumping on the sofa, pick up the child without anger, without any emotion. Pick up the child and put the child on the floor. Again, the child will look at you and the child will climb and then start jumping. Do it many times. Initial actions of the child is the sign of disappointment. I can't take it. This is not possible. I've never heard this from anybody. But eventually, the child realizes. That is, again, I want to remind you, that's a growth of character. That's a growth of character. Even if somebody says something against, see, look at these, all these are very minor things. But as adults, we find it very difficult when the children cry. They don't cry. Actually, they don't cry for themselves. As adults, we want to hide ourselves when we are crying. We want to close the room, or sometimes we want to be with the person who's very close to us, but the child's cry is open. That makes it all the more difficult for us. When the child is disappointed, that child will cry and look at you to see whether you are seeing or not. Otherwise, it's a waste. My crying is a waste. Or they also look around to see who are all watching me so that I can continue my program. Very innocent children. It makes us, our life very difficult. I always say, when you take in spite of all those, I want to tell you, we need to prepare ourselves not to be angry. Anger is emotion. We know at the end of our anger, who will be upset? We will be upset, not the children. You get angry, you scream at them, you shout at them. They listen sometimes. That's not coping with dealing with disappointment. They want in a way that they feel, oh my God, let us shut her mouth. They move away. At the end of it, you start thinking, why was I so bad? Why did I scream at the child? It's not helping the child to deal with disappointment. Next time you shout, I cry. You shout, I cry. That's how it will go. But to help our children to deal with disappointments, let us not get angry. We need not laugh at this. The other thing I want to tell you, we should not laugh at the child's mistakes and then say, no, 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 you can't do that. Children must know that we mean it when we say something. we really mean it. When she says no, she really means it, and she will be consistent till the action is stopped. That's why I said these are the simple things we see. Children, many children we see, they climb on the dining table. Dining table is to place our plates and have our food. Let us be clear about it. We are very clear when it comes to adults. Imagine a 40-year-old person trying to climb on the table and sitting on it. Even if they are disappointed, we will stop them. First of all, it will break. That is, but imagine. But when it comes to children, we don't even realize that. We leave the child. We laugh at the child. Poor child thinks that the child is entertaining us. They are very clever. And one day suddenly so-called Montessori trained person comes and the person says, you can't sit on the table. You can't sit at the table. Children scream. They look at you and scream as if you have committed a big crime. You're a murderer. That's how they scream. How can they deal with their disappointment, sudden disappointment? And 1 or 2 days, the minute you are till you are there, child tries. Then after you go away, if you let the child do it, they can't cope with this. They think that decisions can be changed. I'm really sad to say that's why our teenagers think my results should be changed. Otherwise, I want to end my life. That's how we have helped our children. Decisions can be changed. No can become yes. That's a very dangerous message for our young children. It is very dangerous. It's not good for our children. We are not actually by helping our children to deal with disappointment. We are helping our children to create their character. Like I said, as an adult, the way we deal with our disappointments based on who we are. We know we want our children to be very strong adults. For that, we must start. I'm still talking only about very young children. I want to tell you, once it's set with very young children, we need not worry about the 6-year-olds. We need not worry about the 12-year-olds. There are different strategies we can have. But with very young children, at least 12-year-olds, 6-year-olds will ask why. Why are you saying that? You are very mean. We are okay with it. When it comes to poor child crying, that's why it's very important for us to have many strategies. And the other thing I want to tell you, you tried, it worked. They will look at you with disbelief when you say no. How can you say it? No, when you say no, no, I will do it. After a point, when they listen to you, I want to tell you the one thing which we should not do as adults is going up to the child and saying that I'm really sorry. Since you did it, I had to say that. I love you so much. That's not necessary. That's definitely, again, we are confusing the child. We are justifying the child's action. We don't do it intentionally. I want to tell you, we never thought this will have this kind of impact. Mama loves you so much. Auntie loves you so much. Uncle, Grand, I like you so much. Since you did this, I said no. Now we are friends. They never felt you are enemy in the first place. They don't. They don't think that you are an enemy. Always, I want to tell you, in a Montessori classroom, children who are troublesome, when you are very firm and helping them to deal, children who are not used to no. No is a big disappointment for them. How can you say no to my action? When you keep helping the children, they come back to you. They always come back to you. As adults, we need to have these strategies in place. And like I said, we need to prepare ourselves. It's not easy. Definitely, there is no punishment involved. We cannot punish our children when they cry. Like I said, crying, rolling on the floor, screaming at us, all those are signs of trying to deal with their disappointments. Like the way I said about adults, some of us cry, some of us like to talk to our close friend. Let them deal with their disappointments by telling the child, shut up, stop crying. Even that won't help the child. We are suppressing the child's emotion. Child is disappointed. Let us accept that. Let the child also realize, let the child take control over his own emotion. Even for the young child, I'm saying. But when we raise our voice, I want to tell you, I've done it. We raise our voice when we feel that we are losing control. That's when it is our inability. It's not about the child. When we raise our voice, since our voice is so high, children stop. That's why I said no punishment at the same time. I'm so sorry. I will never do this again to you. Mama likes you. I like you so much. You are my darling. After the child has done something which is not okay, child was disappointed. We were disappointed. We were very clear that this must be stopped. Then at the end of it, when you see the child listening to you, you feel bad somewhere. That's why it's an emotional thing for us. No? Oh, poor child. Child is listening to me. Then that reasoning out to young children, even that will give the confused message. Oh, might be what I did was right. Though the children can't say it, if the child is able to say it, we will change. Oh, what I did might be right. That's why my mama is saying, I'm so sorry. No need to say sorry. To deal, for them to deal with their disappointment. Like I said, we need to help them. Let them grow. That's okay. Children, some I've seen, especially when you take them out, when there is misbehavior, when we say no, there is disappointment. Misbehavior must be stopped. That's our responsibility as adults. When we say don't do this, don't touch this, in a public place, when the child cries, people around you start advising you. They tell you what to do. Then why don't you pick the child up? No, why did you do this? Your child is crying. Why are you leaving the child like that? But in spite of that, remember we are helping the child to create his character. I'm also going to tell you, if you see that kind of disappointment, if you know that the child is going to be disappointed, even to very young children, the other strategy is we can prepare the child. Preparation helps the children a lot to cope with disappointment. Lot. These are the expectations. We are going out. I'm going to buy fruits. I'm not going to buy anything else. We will go out and come back. It's like a story for the child, very young child. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to buy only these fruits. We are going to come back. That's a preparation. Preparation so that even if the child is disappointed, you're done your duty. But if the child says, no, I will not come back, we have to go out. We need to stand by our decision and say, this is not possible. No, I will told you. That's a consistency. And whenever it is necessary, stopping the child, even if the child is disappointed, will help the child. Not for us. I'm not talking about adults. I'm not worried about adults. Adults can manage. Child's cry, you can manage. Child shouts at you, you can manage. You feel sad sometimes, but you can manage. I'm talking about the child. This is the child's life. We need to help our children to cope. Like I said, these are minor things. Minor things. Once I still remember myself and Rupu started working with children together many years back. One child was so disappointed. I still remember the dialogue. Some of you might have heard it. The child was crying. The child needed some extra help. The child thought that we will do everything for her. We didn't do it. And she was crying. She looked around and said, I'm crying. My tears are rolling down. Nobody is even wiping my tears. Why are you doing this to me? If you feel, oh my God, this is very bad, we are not helping the child to deal with her disappointment. This is life. We all know as adults, life is full of disappointments. It is full of disappointments. We know that. We say that. But our responsibility is to help our children to cope with it, to face it, to take control over their disappointments, their own emotions. I'm also going to tell you, though I took the example of only young children, it's the same for the older children also. When it comes to a 6-year-old child may not cry, child might argue. They will say that you are a very bad person I've ever seen in my life. That much they can talk. Their disappointment will come in such things. They don't mean much. And they say you are the person, very bad person, cruel person. They don't mean much. Again, we need to remember they don't have life experience like us. They are still young. With the 6-year-old children, you can talk, you can discuss, you can reason up. Even by doing that, you can talk about the consequences. These are the consequences. You have to face it. We are not being cruel. We are not giving them punishment. We are helping our children to deal with disappointment. After 2, 3, children are very clever. After 2, 3 such experiences, they will know, they won't even come to you. They will know this is what she's going to say. I know. Actually, even our very young children, they know what is wrong. The disappointment comes when you catch them. Not that they don't know that jumping on the sofa or taking away somebody's mobile phone is right. They don't think like that. They know that it is not allowed. But let me try it out. Let me try it out to see what kind of reaction I get. With the 6-year-old children, definitely you can reason out. You can tell them this is the consequence. I'm not saying that we must let the children suffer. It is not suffering, it's coping. We are not abandoning our children. Even with a very young child, if the child is jumping on the sofa, if you say you can't jump and leave the child, that's dangerous. That's what is abandoning. I tell you, you are disappointed, I am giving up. That's our problem. When we give up, I want to tell you, we are weak. It's not easy when we are emotionally connected and somebody's, we are weak. That's why I said, let us be clear. Let's be very clear. Let's be consistent. That will come when you realize that every no will help my child to build his character. Every no will be a brick. When the child understands, they will start coping. You don't see this kind of cry. Even the teenagers, they can take responsibility. Tell them you are responsible for your action. Since you have decided to do this, you please remember this might be the consequence. What happens when there is a failure? We try to help our children by saying it's okay. I also want to go back. Don't ever laugh at the child's disappointment. The child is crying. Don't say, oh, look at him. Poor child is so sad, he's crying. And let's not save the children in that way. It's okay. What you did is okay. When you say okay to a very young child, that's what the children will believe when they are teenagers, when they are 6-year-olds. They think that it's okay, but we know that it is not okay. As adults, we know very well that it's not okay. So we must start with the teenagers. We can definitely discuss. We can definitely reason out. We can tell them these are the consequences. I'm here to support you. That's why I said the responsibility must be with the child, not with us. Even with the young child, I said when the child is crying, after a point, the child realizes if I do this, I will be disappointed. They can't say it in so many words. It is not possible by them. They don't have such words. But our action with firmness, without anger, will definitely help our children to deal with disappointment. It is not just dealing with disappointment. When they are able to deal with their disappointments, when they are able to cope with their disappointments, actually they are ready for life. We are helping our children to live their life. It's not just stopping the child from crying. stopping the child from jumping. Child is learning life skills. Child is learning socially acceptable behavior. When the adult is able to cope with the disappointment, we talk about that adult. We talk very high of those adults. We say, you can't, though the person has a lot of failures in life, lot of challenges. Look at the way she's going on with her life. He or she is going on with, it's amazing. Don't we say that? We say that, we admire those people. It is not something which goes unnoticeable. We admire those people. We say, I wish that I can be like this. I can be like that person. We all of us wish. Like the way my friend said, oh, such a useful topic even for adults. That's what she said. Dealing with disappointment, it's not only for children, but that starts from children. That will start only from children, not from adults. We know from adults it's not possible. It is about emotional stability. It's nothing but emotional stability. Though there is sadness, there is unhappiness. When there is a failure, nobody can say philosophically that we can say that. Like I said, we can easily say these are the stepping stones. From every disappointment, I learn a lot. Yeah, we can say that. But the pain and sorrow stays with us. It is not that nobody can share it, nobody can take it away from us. But the way we cope with our disappointments will make us better humans. We want all our children to be a better human being who can cope with this disappointment. Once we are able to cope with our disappointments, we are at peace with all our difficulties. That starts from early on. When you say you can't touch it, you can't take it. I'm sorry, you cannot do this. You cannot pour water on the. I've seen children sitting on the dining table, opening the water bottle and pouring it on the dining table. People also say, that's why I'm saying, please tell him to stop. No, no, no. He gets very upset. He gets angry. We are afraid of that. In a way, we are weak. Actually, though the children do it, as I said, it's a minor thing. We are afraid of the consequences. More than the children, we are afraid of the consequences. If we are afraid of the consequences, we won't be able to help our children to deal with disappointment. Being firm and saying it nicely, not once. The other thing I want to tell you, yesterday it worked, today it's not working with young children. That's like, yesterday it worked, today again same. When we went out, when he saw his grandparents, it's not working. It will not work. Why should it work? There are some new people. Let me try it out again. When I cry, people are even telling my mother, don't make him cry. Why are you doing this to him? So we can't expect instantaneous result from our children. Then they can't be children. They can't be children. So when I say consistency, it must be for many days. It could be for some months also for some of his children. But always we must remember, by saying no, by stopping my child's action, which is not acceptable, I'm helping my child to deal with this disappointment. One day you will see the child, even if he does something which is wrong, when you say, you know that it's not accepted, or you say, can you do that? The child will look at you and say, no, I can't do that. That's where you see dealing of, I know I'm disappointed. I know I would like to do it. But I realize the responsibility part. You might think it's too much for very young children. Why are you talking? Responsibility is not the kind of responsibility we are talking about when it comes to adults. With children, they realize that it's not okay. They go about with their life, hoping that these little things will add to the child's character. That's what we are. Once we remember that, we are worried about the child's life. We know that it's very important. We want our children to be strong individuals. When I say strong, it's about emotion. It's not about physical strength. Even people who don't have physical strength, if they are emotionally strong, as adults, we know that it's possible. So let us be very clear with our children. Let's help our children to deal with their discipline. For that, definitely they need our support. For our children, the support they look for is from us. This firm, consistent clarity. She's not very sure. I want to tell you, if you are not sure, children can smell it. They can sense. Then you can't help them to deal with disappointment. They will only look at you. Somehow they manage to sense it. Can I say no? Can I stop? Oh, she's going to cry. Let me stop. Let me not say. Okay, I didn't say that, ma. You had it. It is not about your failure. It's about the child's character. Not helping me to deal with my, oh, that's okay. I can do anything with this adult. I want to tell you, dealing with disappointment for the child comes from us. Though the topic says how to help the children to deal with disappointments, it is from us. It is our responsibility. It is not easy, but we all wish that we could do it. It's, I told you that our connection with our children is deep-rooted emotion, lot of love, lot of affection. I'm not saying that we need to change that, but let's use it in the right way and help our children to deal with their emotions. Let them deal. That's why I said no sorry, no laughing at the child. No, after you said something, the child dealt with the disappointment. At last, the child stopped crying. At last, the child stopped screaming. Do not, I'm not against hugging. Do not immediately hug the child. Even that will not help. Somewhere you are giving the message, what I did as an adult is wrong. I'm not sure of that. Then we are not helping the child to cope with this disappointment. So today I'm disappointed. My mother was upset with me. My father was upset with me. So-and-so is upset with me. I'm unhappy. But at the same time, I can't do this. That's why I said we are building the child's character by adding brick by brick through our action. Many such instances will happen with children. Even with the 6-year-old child, don't worry when the child says, this is not okay, you are very bad. You don't know, you can't understand me. All those are only the signs of disappointment. It's a sign of disappointment. Even there, be very clear, be very firm. Talk to the children. They do understand. They understand the logic. They understand the reason behind it. We are here to help our children. I know it's difficult, but let's all try together. That's why I said it is awareness. It's okay. I know what I'm doing is right. Even it might look unreasonable sometimes. What I'm doing is right. Let's have that clarity and help our children to deal with their disappointments by supporting our children, by guiding our children. That's what they need from us. They need guidance. They need support. And I'm going to end my talk by saying, many years back, I was watching a cricket match, I think. I hardly watch, but one cricketer said that when there is a challenge, we display our character. We don't create our character. But to display a character, the character must be formed when they are young. We can't expect our teenagers, we can't expect grown-up adults to display their characters when if it is not created. Definitely, we might think the challenging times will help me to create. It is, we are only showing who we are. That is our responsibility. Let's help our children together. As a community, let us help our children cope with the disappointments. Though it is going to be unpleasant to all of us initially, it's not easy. But remember, behind this unpleasant thing, we are going to see a beautiful child who is emotionally strong, who can manage his life, who can be an asset to himself, not about others. I can manage my life. I can take control of my life. I can deal with my disappointments. We talk about brave people. I'm brave, I'm strong. The foundation will be laid from early on. Let's all try it. It is possible by all of us, though it's not easy. Good luck to all of us. Thank you so much.